Alldus podcast is brought to you by Alldus International, supplying your expert AI and digital transformation staffing needs across the US and Europe. Today, you are listening to our AI in Action series, where leading minds in AI from across the world share their story, success, and advice. AI in Action cuts through the hype and explores the true impact of artificial intelligence in our world today.
You're listening to AI in Action. I'm your host, JP Valentine. Our guest today is Sid Roy. Sid is one of the founding engineers and manager of the machine learning group over at Devron. Sid, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, John.
That's our pleasure. So, Sid, if you wouldn't mind, just give us a bit of background on you and your journey in technology from where you got started and what's led you to where you are today at Devron.
So I was actually working in academia, doing my PhD from University of Iowa, and I worked on several US Air Force and NSF funded grants to solve problems related to high-speed computational physics. So what I was doing was I was using AI to understand the physical behavior of matter at micron scale. And I was using AI to build models to predict the behavior at the macro or large scale. If you think about it, this is very similar to predicting economic behavior of an entire population of a nation based on the individual microeconomics. So, there were a lot of moving parts to understand the microstructure of the material, physical, chemical behavior of the material, and the interaction between them. I started solving these problems using rule-based approach first, but then I went on to use the latest computer vision techniques, and I got a lot of success. Then I moved on to the industry. I got into an AI program in San Francisco called Insight, which really helped me understand the industry and got me into privacy-preserving machine learning. I became really passionate about that topic. And in 2019, we were seeing a huge shift where we were moving on from becoming the consumer of online products to the product ourselves. So we became the product. And so our personal data were being sold. We could hear about privacy breaches. And so this really got me into thinking about solving this issue related to privacy and machine learning. On one hand, there were these private and personal data were being used by these large social media companies and sold to third parties, whereas on the other hand, there were healthcare, financial, and government organizations which would hugely benefit from access to more data to build better machine learning models that would actually benefit people. So this was a very difficult situation, and I wanted to solve this problem. That's when I was approached by our current CEO, Karthik, who was also looking to solve the same problem. And since then, I have been with Devron and built it ground up, built the ML team and the ML product roadmap and everything around that.
Thank you for that. I appreciate the intro and what you referenced there around the problem that you wanted to solve gives a clue as to what Devron does. So taking a step back, tell us all about Devron, who you are as a business, what the mission of the organization is, and then we'll jump into your role as the manager of the ML team there.
We're building a federated machine learning platform. So what we are doing is that we are allowing companies to run machine learning on distributed data for faster, more effective outcomes, without worrying about the cost, concentration, risk, and long lead times and privacy concerns associated with centralizing the data. So where we come in is to solve the pain points of enterprise companies. One of the major three areas where we solve the problem are the problem of data access, where the data is owned by some private organization and they want to share the data, or they want access to more data, but they cannot because of regulatory reasons or privacy laws and various other restrictions or data sovereignty issues. And the second problem that we're solving is performing data scientists, performing data science on multiple data sets without moving the raw data. So we allow enterprise companies, enterprise organizations access to the data and access to multiple data sets and run federated learning on that. And we also allow monetization of data without losing access to the ownership of the data. So this way we can actually stop the organization using the data from selling it to some third party without having the knowledge, of the first party. We are helping build more economical model development, proof of concept, experimentation, and basically going through the entire data science workflow, just like the way the current data scientist does, but without seeing the raw data.
Very cool. Explain to us what federated learning is. Give us some insight into how you guys use it and how it's become more and more prevalent in the industry.
Absolutely. So federated learning it's a machine learning paradigm that seeks to address the problem of data governance and privacy. We train algorithms collaboratively without moving or exchanging the data itself. So it was first implemented by Google on the Gboard, where they used federated learning to train NLP models. However, currently we are seeing it being used for healthcare, finance, and all the different areas of application where you can start training a model and the model is trained on the data, and then the model trains and comes back to a central location without having to move the data. And so we are enabling that through our platform.
What sort of organizations are coming to you with this problem? Who are the companies or industries who are looking to use this technology? And can you give us a recent example of a company who has started the conversation, they felt like they needed your specialized help? And what's been the steps for Devron to integrate with the end customers' overall technology team? And how do you guys go about implementing your machine learning and AI models to help them?
Currently, we are more focused on financial organizations because we are solving this data problem. Any kind of organization and any kind of enterprise organization with a large amount of data can come to us. We have been having conversations very recently with MasterCard, and we also have 3 other paying customers. And we have also deployed our product on the Department of Defense because they work on very entrenched situations where they cannot move the data.
You are listening to the Alldus podcast. When you're looking to scale your team, or if you are interested in showcasing your company in a future episode, reach out today. Or if you're in the market for a new role, visit our website to view open positions, www.alldus.com.
Sid, you're in a quite a unique position because you joined as one of the founding engineers in a startup, which, is quite challenging in many respects because you've got to figure things out as you go. But you guys have already had a lot of success. Can you talk to us about what the early stages were like and how you worked with the various members of the team to take it from concept to a scalable, workable model?
It is extremely challenging. The first few months after I joined at Devron, I was not even sure if this whole idea would work. I even worked on sweat equity for the first few months, and I joined in as the head of research. So what my goal was, because I was coming from academia and I had a good understanding of how to going into the papers, like looking at some of the new technologies that are coming in the AI, privacy preserving machine learning, federated learning, and encryption. And then I was looking into how to productize these, but also looking into and doing some market research, understanding what are the pain points, where can we come in as a data science company and solve this problem. So it was very challenging. We looked at some open source solutions. We were seeing how others were trying to solve this problem. And we found that most companies that are trying to solve this problem are solving this for a specific type of machine learning problem. But we were trying to solve this at a more general scale, so allowing federated learning for doing any kind of machine learning. I soon realized that we have to build a product ground up without taking the help of any other products. But we also have to respect the current data science workflow. Like data scientists are used to using TensorFlow, PyTorch, scikit-learn, these kind of libraries. And why would they want to switch from those libraries and use like Devron's product? So what we decided to come in and integrate Devron so that the data scientists are going through the same workflow, but then use Devron and use it in a federated learning fashion. Then again, the next challenge that we faced was, okay, I can do that. Federated learning is a is a distributed scenario. However, it's not distributed in a traditional sense where you just, distribute the training among multiple like GPUs, but it is distributed in a sense where one data source cannot talk to another data source. So we had to build the infrastructure for that. Then we became more like a platform that had our own Devron SDK where you could build your own machine learning models. So it was like three different, like a pyramid shape, if you may.
When you look back at the first 2 years at Devron, especially because you transitioned from academia straight into industry in a startup founding, that's probably one of the more challenging moves to make. What are some of the things that you learned along the way? And if you were speaking to somebody else who's looking to make that switch from academia straight into the startup world, what advice would you offer them?
I would think of a mindset where you want to iterate fast. So in academia, you have some time to think of the best solution and you imagine what the best solution is. You have some hypothesis and then you test the hypothesis, and that cycle is longer. Whereas I feel like in industry, that cycle is much shorter, where you come in, you have an idea, you test it, but also you have to think about, is this idea even useful? Is this like whatever I'm building, where is this applicable? And then you try to get quick feedback. And going through that iteration, moving from the matter of months to a matter of weeks or even days, I think that change of that mindset has really helped me. That is like one big advice I would like to give. Yeah.
Focusing now on the team and the growth that's expected. You and I were talking before we started the recording about the exciting journey that Devron has been, and you guys are only just getting started. When you look at the rest of 2022 into next year, what sort of growth are you expecting to see, and what opportunities are there going to be for people to come and join and help you guys work, not just on the machine learning side, but all across the data team?
We are looking to more than double our team by end of 2022. So we are hiring. We are hiring machine learning engineers. We are even looking for a head of engineering role. And we are also hiring platform engineers, backend engineers, DevOps engineers. So we are hiring all through in all the different domain. And also if someone is very interested in privacy or privacy preserving technologies, you're welcome. And we are also talking to a lot of prospective customers, and we see a lot of prospective growth in the coming of 2022.
So as you're part of the founding team there, you're heavily involved in the identification and screening of candidates. When you're interviewing people for the data science and machine learning teams at Devron, obviously you're asking them the technical questions to see if they're a good fit, but you're also helping them understand what the opportunity entails and promoting Devron as a great place to work. When you're speaking to candidates, what is it that you tell them about the environment or the work or the culture at Devron that gets them interested in working with you guys over some of the other great companies that are out there?
First of all, we are working on federated learning, which is a very cutting edge technology in machine learning. There are not many companies where you would get a chance to do that. And on top of that, we are also a very like an agile team. We are a remote team right now, even though we have our headquarters in New York City. And we give a lot of options to the candidates joining. We give like equity options, stock options, and we are still growing. So there is still a chance for them to still be a part of one of the founding team and see the value that they give into a product. Because if they join a larger company, a lot of times they are small cogwheel of a much larger system, and then they don't get to see their contribution. But whereas in Devron, you get to see that the product is, you get to contribute directly to the main product, and I think it gives a very good experience to the candidates. So.
Sid, final question for me then. When you look ahead for not just the future of Devron, but the increased demand for privacy within data, but also helping organizations access the ever increasing demand for data, what are you most excited about for the next few years at Devron?
Yeah, I think that Devron is working on federated learning, and I see that the industry is soon going to adopt federated learning in all the different products, the enterprise and the large mobile devices, the apps. Even when you are browsing the internet, I think everywhere there will be federated learning because of the increasing concerns about privacy and privacy laws. I'm really excited about that part.
Sid, thank you so much for coming on today. I really appreciate you sharing your background, giving us an overview of Devron and the interesting industry that you guys work in. It was great to learn about how you made the transition from academia to industry, and then also now in an exciting startup where you're playing a pivotal role. It sounds like Devron is going to be a fun place to work and working on some really interesting stuff. So we wish you, the team, and everyone at Devron the best of luck in the years ahead. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, John, for having me.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Alldus podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. We are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and any Android podcast of choice. You can also head over to our website, www.alldus.com, to listen to more podcasts, view our open roles, and stay up to date with industry news. Thanks for listening, and stay tuned for more great episodes coming very soon.